Yo, what up, everybody? I'm Dave Miranda, and this is episode 36 of Just Give Me 5. I hope you guys are doing well, continue to be amazing. Got a really awesome show lined up for you today. But I got to shout out the Phoenix Funkeros for hooking me up with this hat, man. You know, the homie Tony linked up with me, got me this hat to rock, and man, they're just really awesome guys doing some really good stuff out here. Make sure you guys are following them on social media. All right. Nothing but love and respect, fellas. Keep moving. Keep moving. All right. But if you guys caught episode 35, though, you saw that we had none other than my brother Jabba One. And let me tell you, that was fun, man. You know, that was fun. You know, that was like me and Jimmy's like first little like mini tour, you know what I mean? Like we hit up California. We started in North Hollywood on Friday, and we filmed my man Johnny Ray Diaz. And then Saturday we went over to San Diego, Carlsbad, and filmed Jabba and linked up with him. So it was really awesome. Really happy that we were able to make that happen. You know, Jabba is just a true gem out here. You know, it was just a great story. Everything that he did from, you know, working in radio and in the DJ scene and Furious Styles crew, which we'll get to in a little bit. And it was just really awesome, man. So nothing but love and respect to my brother Jabba. And make sure you guys watch episode 35. All right. But today's guest is like the ambassador of the Arizona b-boy scene. And he's been all over the world, been in numerous battles, and we're gonna definitely get into that as well. He's also the co-founder of the legendary Furious Styles crew. We're also gonna go into the Next Level program he is a part of, because it is just awesome. And wait till you hear about this. If you wanna know about b-boying, this is definitely a gentleman you like to talk to. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you B-Boy House.
Peace, y'all. This is B-Boy House, and all I'm saying is just give me 5. In the beginning of 6th grade, so we're talking mid-'80s. I grew up in Chicago, was raised in Chicago, and I used to go to elementary school. It was a bilingual school. 2 schools that were in the whole city of Chicago that were bilingual schools. And so there was a long waiting list to attend those schools. And summer of 5th grade, after 5th grade, I went to Mexico for the summer. I came back a little bit late. I wasn't allowed to get back into the school, partly because, you know, we already had our little posse going on in the school. So they're like, oh, we can break these cats up a little bit. So I had to go to the school in my neighborhood, which was Armstrong, which my aunts had attended at the time. The bilingual school I used to get bused to, so it was kids from all over the city that were at that one. This one was, you know, a neighborhood school. But the very first day that I walked into a class, you know, and this is a predominantly black and Mexicano school. And very first day that I walked into the classroom, there were, you know, I saw this like 8-man centipede worm thing going on and people like popping and locking. And I was like, yo, what the? I mean, I just spent the whole summer in Mexico and this wasn't happening when I left, and I came back and I had no idea what it was still. Yeah. And I thought it was something just from that school. I was like, yo, this neighborhood's crazy. I was like, these kids are tripping. Like, you know, they were like aliens to me. I was like, what is going on? Yeah. But then later on, I started hanging out with those cats, and I started going to the local park. Parks and Rec thing, and they had a show, and they did a Christmas show, and that's what they were practicing for. And so I went to go check out the show. The gym was packed. Yeah. The whole neighborhood was there, and again, it's almost all black and Latinos, but there was this one cat, and I'm a small dude. This guy was smaller than me, redhead, freckled faced little white boy named Chad. I mean, stood out like a, stood out in the crowd definitely. But he also stood out to me in the show. He hit these windmills, bro, and, you know, these continuous backspins, and the entire gym just exploded. Nice. And I had been exposed to dance my entire life. Every single party at my house, all the family parties were dancing parties, but I was always mad intimidated by scared to dance. I mean, I would like literally like cry if people try to make me dance because I was so nervous about it. It's like, no, especially like with a girl, you're like, no, that's just weird. Right. But when I saw this cat hit these windmills and I saw the reaction of the audience, of everybody, and not just that, the reaction afterwards where like everybody was giving him proper, everybody was giving him love, the guys, the girls, and he's the outcast, he's the oddball of this whole community right now. You know, and I was like, whoa, this kid, you know, he's the white kid. He's small, you know, but look at all this juice this kid just got. And I was like, and he's out of dancing. I was like, and I don't have to dance with a girl. And this is moves that I've never seen anywhere else, kind of thing. So that immediately that day, I said I got bit by the bug. I was just like, this is dope. This is what I want to do. And then, you know, and this is the era, the year where Beat Street came out, breaking came out, like literally one day after the other. And so I saw the packaging, because I had seen Graph, you know, along the trains. You know, my aunts knew a lot of DJs, you know, Hot Mix 5 kind of dudes from Chicago. I had, you know, seen, started to see little seeds of it, but when I saw it packaged, I was like, oh wow, this is all connected. I was like, this is incredible. After that, it was a wrap. It's been since then. So I moved here from Chicago right after high school. Started this crew in '87 out there. And I moved out here. Things were just getting real wild out there as well in Chicago. You know, the gangbang has always been super heavy. You know, I was never in a gang, but you just couldn't avoid it. Like, you couldn't get away from it. I mean, you know, you ran from the train station home, like, just booked it. So you didn't run into the, so it was heavy. So my parents had been pushing me to try to move. And so I moved out here right after high school, '90. And, you know, and of course at that time, I couldn't find anything or anybody out here, and I didn't know anybody. You know, people were still pulling up with horses to Circle K's. So it was that kind of, so it was like mad culture shock. The first crew I started was called STR, Starting the Revolution. And I had people like Z-Trip that was down in it. I mean,
nice.
So it got really big, but it got hectic as well. Took off to Chicago. I would still go back every summer. Came back. Long story short, I met up with, through the Graph game, I met up with two other brothers, the Rincon brothers, the twins. And they were out in Maryville, and their house was the headquarters for it. And we started hanging out, like, oh yeah, you know, we used to break, and we break, oh cool. So we started hanging out, chilling. Some cats had invited us. They're like, yo, we're gonna start a crew. You guys wanna join this crew? We're like, oh, we'll come to practice, see what's good. Their ideas didn't, their vibe just wasn't our vibe. You mean, I think they wanted to be called Versatile, and they wanted to paint like V's on the hands and be like Versatile crew, and we're just like, yeah, that's not really our flavor.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, like the Power Ranger stuff before Power Rangers. So, but we already had, so after STR, I started a crew called SUS, Styles Upon Styles. Shout out to my boy Flask and Pickle from CMW Chicago. You know, and it's off the Tribe Called Quest. Styles Upon Styles. Started that crew, and I was like, yo, let's just be the B-boys for Styles Upon Styles. So at first we just were a Styles crew, and it was just us three. And then my younger brother, Odin, he was a little too young at the time to get down, but eventually he got down. You know, so basically we just were like, cool, we're gonna be Styles crew. And then Mr. Groove and his brother got down, so now we had 6 brothers. So, you know, why the foundation of it is like so family orientated. You know, and then it just, that was it. And then, you know, eventually we picked up the Furious, because there were so many crews that were, especially in California, that were coming out that had the word Styles in it. And I'm like, yo, we're getting, you know, lost in the sauce here. Right. You know, so what's something, you know, and we used to emulate like the Rocksteady from back then as well. So like we need an additional word. And every member will tell you a little bit of different version of it. What I remember was being at Mr. Groove and my cousin File 2's house. And we were just sitting there doing tags, like putting, you know, mad words in front of Styles crew. And then I just remember hitting that Furious Styles, and I was like, yo, that's, you know what I mean? And we've always been into battling, you know what I mean? So we were always known, like, we walked in, like, you know, we were about to battle. There was no questions asked, there was no conversations, there was nothing. You just walked in like, oh, cool. Or if somebody else walked into the spot, it was like, cool, yo, Z-Trip, what's up? You know what I mean? So yeah, Furious Styles crew was born off of that, bro. An extension off of what was SUS, Styles Upon Styles. And then, yeah, it was those original 6 brothers for a minute. Then the Rincons had another brother that came in, and then it just started stacking up. And now we have, you know, chapters in Copenhagen, Denmark, and Barcelona, Spain, and then a couple other places. But so it's, you know, from just a couple of homies hanging out in Maryville, you know, and now we're here worldwide, 93 till infinity. It's a really tough one. I think one of them that pops into my head is Me, Miracles, and Odin. We went to New Zealand. Odin had hooked up with some people out there, and we went out to New Zealand for an event called Body Rock to judge and do some workshops and whatnot. But while we were there, we entered they had the X Games out there,
Nice.
and they had a breaking competition at the X Games,
Okay.
and so we ended up winning that event. And that one was a really dope one because that whole experience and that whole trip was really fresh. Like I said, we were out there for a couple of weeks, so we spent some good time out there. It was a nice link. The battles were dope. It was dope to be in such a big kind of like a arena space with motocross doing flips over here, and we're out here battling. So there's a moment and it's on video actually. My brother, he hits his head spin drill, and somehow his like chain flew off, but he caught it like in mid, and so it was one of those kind of things like where things were just, he's like, whoosh, and we were just like, yo. So it was like, we were just like, the magic was there, it was, and we were just really synchronized, we were rocking like our Team USA gear. So that one was really dope. Battle of the Year, we win as Fierce Soldiers. That happened super sporadically. They had a Battle of the Year qualifier in LA, and not a lot of people really showed up. USA's out, well, in the past. When it came to putting shows together, that hasn't really been the America's thing in the past. Now it's different. Right. So Battle of the Year, if people don't know, Battle of the Year it's an event, and actually this year is going to be the last official year of Battle of the Year. Okay. But it happens in Germany. And you have to do a show. They pick the top four shows, and then they battle. We ended up hooking up with some brothers out in California, Knuckleheads. It was us and Knuckleheads, and then a couple other cats from that were down with like OSA, and we teamed up. But it was mad hectic again. We put together like the show for that one, the day of. We put a tape in the car, and we're putting some stuff together. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it was last minute. We weren't expecting to enter, but they were like, "Yo, not a lot of crews showed up." So we're like, "Cool, we'll just throw something together." We ended up taking that competition. Again, some of us here, some of us were in California, so it was a struggle. We had to put together this show. We never ran the routine all together until we were on that stage in Germany. We had never were able to get everybody together at the same time. Wow. Yeah. But that was definitely mind blowing. It was, you're talking like a huge arena, sold out, packed. You get up there, and I think I remember being up on that stage and be like, yo, this is what rappers feel like, because this is like an entire stadium, full of people just to watch breaking, and, and there was like mad crowds, and then there was mad ciphers. We went out into like the lobby, and it felt like you were, it was crazy, especially that time, because we didn't have as much stuff like that here yet. But watching families walk around with their kids, like it was like people were walking to like Disney on Ice type of thing. Like, okay, come on, guys, let's go buy our souvenirs. Let's go buy your flag for your favorite team. And it was like they had big screens outside for the people that couldn't get in. Right. So just to be able to see that shift and that other perspective and the way they were handling and putting highlight on that stuff, because that again back then, nothing like that was happening here. Right. And we weren't getting those kind of audiences and support. Oh, absolutely. So that one was dope. We ended up not making top shows, so we didn't get the battle. We ended up battling like the ciphers afterwards, and ended up battling at the parties and whatnot. That was really dope to be Team USA. We did a whole thing. I think the theme for that year was for Battle of the Year. I think it was like I might be making it up. Things will never be the same or something. So we did this. That's when Obama had just come in, I think, and so we did like a whole Obama thing. We did we put like some Beatles remix as we came out with the flag at the end, like so nice. So it was a really dope experience. Wish we would got a chance to battle, but going to that event is definitely sick. I think a lot of my favorite battles have happened like in clubs. In a dark corner somewhere. This wasn't a battle, but definitely a dope kind of moment was with Crazy Legs. One of the anniversaries that he was out here, a lot of the after parties would be at my house. And I had a dance studio in there, and Legs was there, there was a bunch of people there. And we had music on in the dance room, but it was the lights were off in there, so there was a little bit of lighting in there. And everybody was like in the kitchen, outside, partying, doing their thing. And I remember walking in there, and Legs was in there, and it was like, oh, so this is the spot. And I was like, yeah. and then he like starts throwing down around. I mean, he's still somebody that I was like, it's crazy legs. He's in my house, you know what I mean?
At your house.
Right.
Yeah.
And he starts throwing down, you know, and we're b-boys, so it's like, okay, this is somebody that I you know, I've seen on Beat Street in the movies type of thing. But you know, the b-boy in me was like, all right, cool, you throwing, all right, and I threw down, and then he threw down, and then I threw down, and then we just, you know, and it wasn't like an in-your-face battle, but we just both kept throwing, you know, and it was, you know, it's one of those things where like, and because I had previously met Legs already, so the first time I ever met him, he had already tested me. Cause he's like, oh, you a b-boy? Can you do footwork for 60 seconds? And we were like, oh, we train like this, you don't know. And we threw down, and he's like, okay. But anyway, we were throwing down, and I just remember at one moment looking back, and all of a sudden the room was everybody, there was hella people against the wall just watching, but nobody was saying a word. Everybody just, I just remember getting up and like, I was like, oh, snaps. Like everybody was just like, you know what I mean? So that wasn't a battle, but it was one of those moments that it's like, yo, that was unreal. Like that was crazy. I just, you know, threw down all these rounds in my own studio with Crazy Legs.
Absolutely,
you know, so that was definitely that was definitely a highlight kind of moment for me. I mean, and there's so many of them. There's so many people that I have respect for and love for. You know what I mean? Again, I got a shout out to the Arizona Floor Assassins that were some of our main rivals in the 90s. I mean, but we had battles. You know, we were battling like 5 days a week with those cats. You mean somebody would be like, yo, they're practicing at this church over here. We're like, cool. Yeah, everybody. We would just show up to the practice and like, and then be out. But yeah, there's so many battles, but those are, I think, some of the highlights for me. The Next Level program, right now, really, honestly, hands down, is probably one of, if not the best program that I've not only just been involved with, but that I've seen, right? Not to say that there isn't anything out there. So Next Level program, I think I saw something on Facebook, and I started looking into it, and I was like, yo, this sounds on paper incredible. Why have I not have heard about this? And then I started seeing like the alumni from it, and I was like, yo, this is like, you know, these are like top-notch people in this thing. So it's a program through the U.S. Embassy. So basically now at this point, I'm a hip hop ambassador for the U.S. Embassy. And I applied the first year, didn't get accepted. The second year, I wasn't, you know, I was all in my feelings, and my ego was like, I'm not applying for that thing no more. Right. They should have got me the first time, you know.
They didn't get it right.
Right. But I think the night before the deadline, I was like, man, let me just push this application through again real quick and, you know, see what happens. So I got picked up. I still didn't know a lot of information about it. We go to this orientation in Washington. They flew us out, put us up. So all I knew is like, this is a hip hop program. They send a squad of 4 people, you know, one of each, try to do one of each element, you know what I mean, a dancer, a DJ, an MC, a writer. And you go out to, you know, it's like a cultural exchange program. And the whole point of it is to go to these countries and to build better relations with them and share American culture. And, you know, and hip hop is as American as it gets. But I was so hyped for it, and apparently everybody else that was there too, because I remember sitting at the table and I leaned over and I was like, yo, you know if we're getting paid for any of this stuff? And people were like, I don't know, I don't really care. We're about to go. You know, I got chosen to go to Morocco, and I was like, I'll go regardless. You know what I mean? Like just right. I get to go to Morocco and like vibe out with some heads out there. It's like no problem. And so I went on Morocco. I did another cultural exchange program with them to Morocco again. And then right now I just got, now I'm a supervisor on the program. So now I'll be taking a squad to Ecuador in January. Nice. But again, it's, you know, and I was still nervous at the orientation. Like, yo, this is a government program. Like, this is the government. Like, I don't know about this. This sounds, you know, this sounds fishy. And one of the main things that I liked about it was, so, you know, you go to these, you know, we went to like this little hood in Morocco. And we were working at this community center, so it wasn't nothing fancy or anything like that. But, you know, what I loved was that it wasn't, it's not like hey, here we go, and let's show our stuff, and then we're out, and then you're stuck. You mean, or here's how you DJ, but you have no access to turntables, so it doesn't do you any good anyway. Right. So with this program, it's like, no, everything that we take, we're leaving there with them, with whatever the organization or the partners are. You know, so we left turntables there, we left drum machines, we left, I was able to take like beanies for them, things that they didn't have access to. So, and it's not like this is the way you have to teach it. We're hiring you to do you do it your way. They give you all the freedom in the world to do it the way you want to do it. So you work with them, and then you showcase at the end, but the showcase isn't the focus, meaning it's not like you have to have a great, perfect show and a great product for this. It's the process and the experience. That's the important part, and the showcase is just extra, just to let them flex. So I really like all those things that were going along with it. It's been around for a good hot minute now, and again, the alumni on it, again, the squad that I'm taking, the MC on my squad is one below. You know what I mean? So, and I was like, yo, this is,
nice.
This is crazy. Like, this is, I get to hang out with people that I've been dancing to their music for ages, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah. It's, so, the Popmaster Fable's on it, like, the alumni on it is ridiculous. So just to be, with all these people that have the same kind of passion, that same kind of burn, to do these things and to share with people is, and that's the ultimate gift. It's ultimate. So to be part of that it's been incredible. And so they send right now, they're gonna have to double up, but they send usually about 6 squads per year to like 6 different countries. So every little nook and nanny that you can think of, they send cats out there, and it's an incredible network of people. The directors and all the way down are all super fresh people, super good people, and so just to be able to say like I'm a hip hop ambassador for the U.S. Embassy.
Absolutely.
Who would have thought, like, ever? In a million years, But that's so many things in our lives now that you're like, man, who would have? You know what I mean? Because you still have in your head of the, like, what you gonna do? Roll around the floor your whole life? You still doing that? Like, or oh, that's gonna go away? Or we've seen like breaking fade away at times. So it's not like not realistic that happens. So for something that nobody else, so many people didn't believe in, and that thought was just gonna be a fad, and to be at the point that we're at now, that we have these incredible programs like this is and to get that kind of support. From the embassies and there's another organization, Meridian, that does a lot of the funding as well too. But it's a well-funded program, and again, they give you the freedom and the trust to do what you want to do. And I still talk to a lot of the homies that I met in Morocco. So, and now Ecuador, I'm looking forward to that. To be able to travel, of course, just on its own and see hip hop in other places, and it just always reinforces that, like, this is universal. Like, we don't have to speak the same language. We don't have to be at the same place, but you feel exactly the way I feel about this. You know what I mean?
And doing what you love is
right.
bringing you out there.
Yeah, exactly. Again, never in a million years. I'm sure my parents never thought that they would get this far. Right. And because they weren't super supportive at the beginning. Because again, they were like, they want something good for you. They want you to be an architect, and my dad wanted me to play soccer, and I was just like, yeah, that's too much math right there, and I just ain't good at that. I'm named after like the best soccer player in the world, but I was like, yeah. So and so that gave me that other outlet. You know what I mean? But it's hip hop. So yeah, Next Level is a really dope program. I would encourage anybody that's into teaching, education like that to apply for it. And even if you don't get on the first time, like just keep going, because very few people now that I've been in the program, very few people actually get taken the very first round right away. But you know what I mean? So and if there's other programs like there, spread the word to people. So I try to tell as many people as I can about Next Level, because it's something that right now I believe in 100%, and super hyped that I'm part of it. Yeah, as soon as I saw that question, bro, it's a great question. I don't have a great answer for it, I don't think. But that's what it triggered in me right away is, it reinforced and reminded me of the work that I do. Like, the fact that I can't just spit out like, yo, I'm special because of this and I'm loved because of this, is like, yo, that's kind of like that's something that we need to work on, that I need to work on myself to be able to recognize that, right? And because it's something that I tell my students, or I tell my crew, or I tell like, you guys are valuable, you have value, you bring something to the table. So it just reminded me of that, like how much I still need to do this work, how much we need to tell each other, right? Because I'm like, if you ask anybody this, I don't think anybody could just be like, oh, I'm special because of this, and and I'm loved because of this. So definitely reminded me of like the work needs to continue. The work needs to continue with myself. The people that love me, they kind of have to. They don't have to, but and I'm grateful for those people, right? Because we're all flawed. There's probably every person that I have some kind of relationship with, I've probably not been perfect with them at some point in time. So I'm grateful for that. And even the communities and the scenes, and we're just talking about the 90s and how crazy the 90s are. And so we're so used to like that we were always butting heads, or that people are always like, so that when you do get love, I'm still kind of like, oh shoot, you still don't know how to exactly receive it. Like I'm not sure how to, and people are like, I'm like, you don't understand. I was like, we're getting props and love now from the community, but in the 90s, people were shooting at me. Right, so, right. So it's a pretty big change. So like on my website, I have a section and it's labeled awards. But instead of putting like any kind of fancy awards or trophies that I won, I have like screenshots of like people that have said thank you to me for something, because that to me is like that's what and it's sometimes 10 years later, 20 years later, so I don't take that lightly. Any time that I can have any kind of exchange, and it can be any kind of love between people, that's super important to me. And yeah, like you said, special, like we're all special in our own way, and that's easy to say, and it's cliche, but it's the truth. None of us are the same. We're all have different experiences. We all have, and so that's what I tried to instill. And so I tried to, like when this question came up, I was like, talk to yourself like you were a student, bro. Like, what would you tell when you're a student? So, you know what I mean? And that's what I have to, but it's work. It's work that you have to put in, but so what's special is everybody that's come across my life, every experience that's come across my life, all that stuff is what makes me special, what makes me different than somebody else. And we see this embodied in us when we're breaking. We see this when people are spitting bars. We see this when people are DJing and painting graph. You see that no matter what, we have the same vocabulary in breaking. I'm gonna do a top rock, a go down, a footwork, a dynamic, and a freeze. But you're not going to do it the same as me, even if we wanted to. It's our signature. You cannot duplicate the signature. So what makes your signature different or special? That it's different, that it's original, that nobody else can duplicate it. We are our fingerprints. We're like walking fingerprints. That's what makes me special. What makes me special is all the people that have been involved in my life, and how that ends up manifesting. So the manifestation of all my experiences, and the ups and downs that life has given me. And I say that because, so that means if I'm special, all those people, all the people around me, all the people that I connect with, they're all special. You know what I mean? And so it's super important for us to think about it. And again, people ask themselves that question and they hesitate. Like it's constant work. You know what I mean? And right away you kind of like, man, I'm loved and I'm special, and it's you don't know how to take it. But again, because of and this is hip hop in general. You know what I mean? Where the community, the culture, it comes from disenfranchised people. It comes from people with no voices. It comes from people that have been held down. It comes from, So yeah, we come from trauma as a community. We come from, we are angry sometimes, but we let it out in these other fashions, So, so it's important to recognize that stuff, and that it's okay and it's good. And man, if we're here to talk about it, like, and maybe that's the other part that makes me special, is that I'm still here to talk about it. Because not everybody gets to, it doesn't mean that they weren't special, but that in itself is special, that I'm able to sit here and have this conversation with y'all. Man, shout out to, of course, all of AZ, again, because it's everybody in Arizona has, whether it's me or the crew, everybody has had some kind of, whether it was our rivals, whether it was people that supported us all along, whether it's people that still don't like us, whatever it is, shout out to all those people, because we're all connected, and again, we're all helping each other out. If we give each other that tough love, whether it's in a battle or whatever, it's still elevating each other. So, shout out to all the Arizona hip hop heads, all the elements. Of course, shout out to everybody in my crew, Furious Styles crew, people that have come and gone through Furious Styles crew. They've still made an impact. They've still made a mark. They still help, create this. We're going on almost 30 years now with it, and we're worldwide. So, shout out to, and there's no instruction manual to this stuff. Nobody tells you, like, this is how you run a crew. You don't, and you start realizing things. And I made a lot of mistakes, bro. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. There's a lot of things that I would do differently, So shout outs to everybody, that rolled with me at some point and rolled with the crew. Shout outs to everybody that's still in it, that we've seen each other's uglies and goods, and we're still, rolling with each other. We call ourselves the lifers. There's a certain, that you're like, you're a lifer, we're in this forever now, So shout out to my entire crew. Of course, my family, again, that's been, my parents, again, weren't supportive at the beginning because they didn't see this as something that was going to be sustainable. But now my family, my parents have been to almost every country that we've been to with us at some point. They've been at so many classic battles, and you'll see them at my booths at every event. You'll see them at the door. You'll see them, so without especially my parents, there's no way that I would be able to done the things that I've been able to do. So of course, my family is my rock. My lady right now, my partner, she's same thing, super supportive of everything, and that's the half right now. And that's another lifer, we in there for the long run. And just everybody that's out there, doing this, keep following your dreams, stick to it. If it feels right to you, and if it's something that feeds your soul, stick to it. The rest will come. The positions that I'm in now, the places that I'm in now, from being a professor at a university, it's stuff seeds that were planted 20 years ago, 25 years ago, But luckily I was just naive, where I was just like, I'm just doing this because I love to do this, no matter what, But for everybody out to just keep doing that thing, because it's going to, at minimum, it's going to feed your soul forever. At minimum, if you can make a living off of it without it tampering, that's wonderful. But believe in yourself, and you're going to have to believe in yourself before other people believe in you sometimes. And it's tough, because you want the people closest to you, around you, to always support you and believe in you, or feel like you're believed in, and it just doesn't happen that way. Not everybody's good. You're special. You have your vision. It's your vision. That's a special vision. Rock with it. Peace out.
And there you have it. Man, nothing but love and respect to my man House. This was special, man, because it's a different dynamic, man. He's covering the entire b-boy scene in Arizona, and it's great to showcase that and let everybody know that we have a lot of history here for that. So nothing but love and respect to you, my brother, and just continue to keep rising. Make sure you guys are following him on social media. A shout out to my brother Jimmy Nelson on that camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. Well, this was another great episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and just continue to do well. Until next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay healthy, and just give me 5, y'all.